Hello, hello, hello. My name is Isaac. This is New Africa Show. Welcome to the show today. Today we'll be looking at the biggest one within the week. The G7 summit has just started. UK and Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister of UK, is hosting this year's G7 summit. G7 actually is an informal grouping. They are not recognized by UN or they are not recognized by anybody. They just recognize themselves and they take decisions for the world. There were a lot of controversies. In 2015, over 7,000 people protested against the legality of G7. When they had their meeting here in Germany, a number of protesters took on the street to question the legality of this group and why they think they have the right, the audacity, and the privilege, or whatever you want to put it, to make decisions, economic decisions that affect everyone, including Africa. This year the summit is ongoing. The biggest story about this year's summit is that the group has pledged $7.5 billion to support the UN-backed COVID-19 response, and they've also pledged to make the vaccine available for everyone. Now, look at the controversy. These same G7, including Australia, are the countries that have bought over 3 billion doses of the COVID-19 vaccine, an excess of 1.2 billion for their people. As you all know, the vaccine is not in the market. It's not in Aldi, it's not in Walmart, it's not in Edeka, it's not in Nigeria, it's not in Ghana, it's not anywhere. The vaccine are only sold by 3 companies: AstraZeneca, Moderna, and Pfizer and BioNTech. But these people have nationalized the whole thing. They've nationalized the vaccine acquisition process. They acquire more than they wanted. Now they keep them and pretend they want to help the developing countries by pledging support and pledging the availability of the vaccine for them. Isn't this hypocrisy in its highest form? As if this is not controversial enough, the G7 summit began with internal controversies. In delivering his address, the UK Prime Minister asked the Chancellor of Germany, Angela Merkel, to mute herself. After noticing some background voice and noise, the UK Prime Minister almost asked the Chancellor of Germany to shut up. Asking someone to mute yourself is just like asking someone to shut up. It's like during lectures when you're making noise and the lecturer doesn't want to tell you, shut the fuck, and the lecturer just telling you, can you mute yourself? There wasn't any difference between shutting Angela Merkel down and asking her to mute herself. That was one of the controversies that is going on within and around the G7, and it raises questions in the minds of the public about the direction and future of this particular grouping. As if that is not enough, a dominant force in this group, France, and her president, Emmanuel Macron, came in or joined the meeting late. Details as to why he joined the meeting late are still not available, but it raises even bigger questions in the minds of everyone as to why the French president, someone dominant enough in the group, to come late. That tells whether he actually took the meeting serious, I don't know. Whether he thought the meeting was something to write home about, I don't know, no one knows. But he wasn't. But what was actually discussed while they were pledging support for developing countries and pledging to make the vaccine available for everyone, Emmanuel Macron, the French president, decided to push through EU army proposal. The French president, in his argument, says the EU should not continue to delegate the protection of EU to the United States. What a brilliant idea. I think Emmanuel Macron ambition is, to me, is a great idea. Probably I'll be joining this EU army, and probably after taking some weed in Amsterdam with my army friends, I'll just go and be stationed at the border between Switzerland and Germany and fight for Germany. Probably there could also be an EU wall, then have the army protect the wall, and I'll be first to protect the wall because I have so many nice German friends. I wouldn't want my German friends to be kind of delegating their protection to anyone else, so I will protect them. Probably this EU army could also propose an EU war like Donald Trump's war around America at the southern border of the United States. Probably there could be an EU war around the EU zone. So all those who within EU, you cannot come to EU. If you want to come to EU, then you have to pass through the wall. Maybe I will be stationed there. But please, commander of EU army, please don't ask me to go and protect Ukraine against Russia. This is just like asking me to go and save an impala that is just about to be eaten by a ravenous and voracious lion. Hey, I know my level. Get the strong ones. But going back to my main issue here, I think every country, every region, China is protecting itself. Russia, they're also protecting themselves. Americans are protecting themselves. Now the EU, led by Macron, wants to also protect themselves. This calls for African Union to also protect themselves. In this video, I'm calling on all African leaders to also come to the table and look at the possibility of setting up an African army. I'll be the first person to serve selflessly in this army. At least when we have an African army protecting ourselves, we can also build a wall, an African wall around the African continent. So anyone coming in or going out would be identified. Isn't that brilliant enough? Besides, with this particular African wall and African army, we could protect our natural resources from leaving the region to the Port Durban of South Africa, the Tema Harbor of Accra, and the biggest port in Nigeria. This would be very good, but please, AU Army, please don't ever ask me to go and fight Boko Haram. Please, I don't want to fight Boko Haram. I'm not that strong enough to fight Boko Haram of Nigeria or Al-Shabaab in Somalia. Please. But I don't mind joining. If I'm compelled to join, I could join, but on condition that you get me a rocket and an air space craft that flies so high, so when I'm finally over there with my machine gun, I'll just point my gun on these deadly bodies and like that. I'll just kill all of them over there whilst I'm there. They cannot get me, I'll be safe. If mistakenly their bullet touches me, I'll just die there and straight directly and quickly to heaven. One of my friends told me heaven is very closer to space. So why not? That is why I want to be there. And at least, if I die there and I don't go to heaven, I can just go to the other corner. Someone told me hell is also very close. It's at the corner of heaven actually. So if I'm not able to go to heaven, I can just switch to hell. Because a friend of mine told me, Planet Venus is actually hell. From afar, it looks like wildfire and flames, but when you go remarkably close, it is actually beautiful looking, very nice to be, and a very nice planet. That is hell, but hey, I could also just remain there. If I'm not going to heaven, I'm not going to hell, because they shot me, I just remain over there, and my carcass over to Elon Musk's space machines, so that we can bring people from Earth to Mars. This is New Africa Show. My name is Isaac. Thanks for watching and subscribe for more videos. Thank you.